Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 581, and today we'll be doing battle with the Berserker in Backpack Battles. And so, as we've gotten to our new iteration of Backpack Battles, the way I've been kind of preparing myself and doing the grind on the old ladder is just playing the champion that I have the least LP with. And so our bottom champion has to kind of rise to the top, if you will, since we're playing it more and more. But as we did the last go around of Backpack Battles, the Berserker is the class that I was trying to take up to Masters, and so we had it pretty well through the Diamond rank. And since it was so high up into Diamond, since I spent kind of like the last week just playing Berserker, it's been the highest ranked class we have at this point and the one that we've played at the least. And so, long story short, I have fairly low expectations for what we get out of this video, but as time goes on, I'm sure we'll get more in tune with what's happening with the Berserker. We'll get more reps in and be back up on top with this champion soon. So here in the beginning, a fairly shitty shop. The on-sale items are fine. I'm okay with lumps of coal. Lump of coal turning into the torch with the wooden sword is fine. The pan is pretty reasonably okay to take, although I don't really like food builds with the Berserker. It's like the subclass item is a pet item and not a food item, and so you don't really get to ramp up that way, although the cheese is arguably fairly strong. And so with this, I think we'll just end up taking most of it, right? We want all of the on-sale items. We want the wooden sword. We can pick the garlic up just as a nice, reasonable early sustain item, and like it's just not worth a roll here. I guess the pocket sand is fine enough. I don't really like pocket sands on the Berserker. Let's just hang on to that. Hang on to that dollar, right? We'll sell it later to get a dollar back, and I'm not super interested in having it at the moment. And so, otherwise, let's dive on in. So, get that torch get that torch generating. Got the pan next to the garlic. Good to go. Very, very low expectations on this round. Probably get annihilated. Yeah, very strong start coming out of the Ranger. Can't imagine we win this round. Oh, shit. Should have imagined a little harder, huh? Because we just smashed through that one. Good stuff. And so it does begin. And so I've been kind of interested in the mana builds of Berserker. The mana items are much more powerful this go around than they were in the past, especially since the chain staff has been released down here that I did not have access to the last time we were playing. And so I see the broom and keep that in mind, but I don't really like chasing after the broom builds here early unless we're picking it up on sale. And so I don't want it. The other item of note here is going to be the axe. The double axe builds are something to me that are good enough to get you to the survival rounds, but not strong enough to win them. And so I'm not opposed to picking up an axe at this point, but it doesn't really feel like it gets you to that top one type of victory kind of place. If it was on sale, I would snatch it up, but it's kind of an expensive investment here in the early game, especially after we just built this torch. I'm leaning toward just rolling here. I'm having such a hard time convincing myself to take that item. Alright, so we definitely want the bag. Now the next interesting thing here is the box of riches. I do like some of the gem builds coming out of the Berserker, but it's so expensive to pick up at this point. If it's on sale, it's fine, but it has such a big ramp-up element attached to it. Let's just roll again before I convince myself to take it, and we'll keep pushing on. Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and take this other axe. I was really hoping that some on-sale items would turn up, and we would have a little bit more a little bit more direction in terms of where we want to take our build, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. And so let's snatch up the rest of this stuff. I'll pick up the on-sale shield. I thought we were going to be able to get the onion as well, but it's not particularly good at this point without any other food items attached to it. It would be kind of nice to have it. You know, if we could, you know, recycle time and not roll away that first axe, then we could end up with the onion here, but it kind of is what it is. Alright, about to get murdered here. We got that big stack of poison debuffs coming in, barely damaging the opponent. Sad day. Sad day. So right, moving forward, not a great set of items. The sales are are not joining us. We'll definitely pick up the bag. It's kind of a tough spot because like I don't want the blueberries. It's just so far off from what we're chasing down. I guess it's not that far off. I mean, we can blueberry into blue torch and have something there, but just, I really like getting the on sale items to kind of define where we're going to be going, and it's just not happening here. All right, I'll take a banana, I guess. Just make a, just make a sad noise about it and move on. The bananas are always spectacular with the Berserker. Most of our builds want to have the super yellow potions, and so stacking up bananas along the way tends to be pretty successful. All right, back to more shovel builds, right? In our previous video, we were going on and on about how we never lose to shovels, and I've learned my lesson. I'm not calling the shot anymore that we're just going to beat down all of the shovel builds. Looks like it's going okay here. We're getting good chunks taken out of that health, but I had got some serious knowledge bombs dropped on me on that previous video when we just kept losing to the shovel fucking over and over and over again. All right, man, these sales just continue to suck. It's just nothing on sale and garbage. I don't want a piggy bank. It's too early to pick things like Cap of Resilience at full price. Don't really want flutes, especially since it seems like we're going big item here with the axes coming in. And so we'll just take the bag, I guess. See if we can't get some direction anywhere. There are some gloves. That's going to be fine, but there's garbage everywhere. I don't know how to... I don't know how to make it any better. All right, though, something like this was reasonable. We'll put the singular stack of the gloves up on our good item. Our food isn't attached to anything at the moment. I guess we can rearrange the bag here a little bit and get the other gloves on our banana. This guy's just like gotta fit in here some way, right? Oh, that just looks way better anyways. I didn't immediately see the setup, but that's kind of nice, getting the gloves on both the axe and the torch. I mean, I planned it that way, right? You're here to hear from the best, and so you're getting it now. Oh shit, we aren't upgrading our gloves though. We need to rotate that around. Then when we rotate that around, it's not gonna work. We have to we can shift it and make it fit. Ugh. Bummer. Oh man, we took this guy down to 1 health and then he regened back out of most of it. Alright, saved the day, getting through. Yeah, man, you want me to complain some more? Just the pure garbage shops we're getting over and over and over again? So how do we feel about this? Do we want anything like the Pestilence Flask? I mean, we're so far away from any of the dagger builds, I don't really want it. We're never going to generate ways to deal poison, so we can look over that. I don't like the stones. I've been seeing the stones turn up. You can't get the stone golem, but we are pretty far away from a stun build here as well, right? We've seen 0 daggers. We passed on the 1 hammer. It is kind of nice to get the hammer, the brass knuckles, and the stone golem all together, but we're kind of far away from that. But here we do finally catch our upgrade. The axe is here. I'm fine to just go ahead and sell off this onion so that we can afford it. It's not really critical to our build. As far as the food goes, I really just want bananas and blueberries so that we can stack up the speed on the stamina, but not really looking to go towards a full go towards like a full build on foods here. So, all right, we got our axes stacking off. We got to get our hammer up and running. Done. We got our bananas down here somewhere. We should be able to just make this work right to where everything will kind of fit. All right, this will be good enough. Do we want to stop and collect on this this bag for the next round? We are pretty close to being out of space, but I'm not opposed to selling this wooden buckler as soon as we can. Probably want to hang on to it. All right, next round. It is kind of a bummer that we're landing on this great axe, but we've passed on the gems, right? We saw that 1 gemstone box. Passed on it because it was a little early, and now we're really suffering for it. But not a terrible loss. That's always a tough round when you've got both of your axes just soaking up the stamina. We could have taken the torch off the board, I guess, but I don't usually like doing that kind of thing. Here we got a leather bag. We got a berries. I don't think we'll roll anymore at this point. We could look to pick up the health potion. I'm not amped about it. It's not a super strong thing in these kind of builds, but like the question to me kind of comes down to like how long do we hang on to this double axe? These things suck to sell because they cost 6 gold, right? So there's 6 for each axe, and then you sell it for 6, so you lose out on that essentially like half a round's worth of gold. But again, this isn't like the big finishing item. You need that and practically large greatsword to be finishing off the game, and so it's something that we may end up just selling. But what I'm kind of getting at is those builds tend to not care about health. They tend to just be like glass cannony kind of things, and so the health potions don't play into that super well. Nonetheless, I think this is okay. I mean, let's just take it. I'm not opposed to just going ahead and getting rid of the torch as well. Our stamina's about to get fucked, and it's going from high to low, but it's really tough to support multiples of these big items. So let's rearrange this guy just a little bit. Get these speed bags up here on our great sword or our great axe. Hang on, this can go a little bit better this way, right? If we put the axe on the long end. If it's up in the space like this, we should be able to put the axe in the bag, the gloves in the bag, and then another attacky item underneath. So we're getting there. Right, something like that. Now we can put the gloves to star up on the axe. It sucks to have the next item be the forging hammer. I'm curious with this space, like what I was touching on in some of my earlier games is just putting the dragon claws onto bananas so that we can use the bananas to regenerate that stamina. These forging hammers don't really deal any damage, right? It's just dealing 1 a second, to where our double axe is dealing 5 a second. It's like literally dealing 5 times the normal amount of damage. And so I think that, that might just be the way to go. I'm no master of the game just yet, but that's one of the things I've really kind of taken note of here in recent days, is just kind of, it's nice to have the hammer on the board as kind of a means of free sustain, but it's not like spectacular at this point. It's something like that. Blueberries don't really do anything, but it does get to ramp up on the banana. Alright, so let's see how things kick off here. Bone is just not doing anything. Oh, it's a shovel. What the? How does this guy beat anybody? Oh my goodness. Just trudging along with that hammer and like a million pigs. Alright, so what do we got? I do enjoy the boots. Picking up that picking up the empowered can be quite good, especially if we switch over to the impractically large greatsword that wants you to hit 5. So we'll stack that in. These other items a little bit expensive. Like this is the thing that's kind of curious to me. Like, what point should you just like switch over to the mana build, right? You see the mana orb here. We didn't technically have to sell that torch. We would have the blueberries into mana potion up here at the top. That would then give you the blue torch and would be kind of off to the races. Like, we didn't have to sell on that previous round, but it still just feels like so late to try and switch over to a mana build. Alright, though. What else we got? This stuff's all very expensive. I would like to pick up the leather armor at some point. Let's just go ahead and snatch it up now. Get the boots out of here. We can't double upgrade. Shit. There we go. Nope, we'll only have 1 slot. Okay. So let's definitely make sure we get this potion belt on the cheap. I like getting the cheap slots. The boots can come back in next round. I think this is okay. Alright. It's another shovel. Everybody's got the shovels today. I can't decide if I can't decide who the idiot is, if it's me or if it's all these other people. It is kind of interesting seeing this berserker with the take of using the shovel and picking up the stones and trying to use that to make the stone golem, right? You can see that he's got the 4 stones on board within his build. Maybe that's a bit of upside to going for the shovel, but I mean, it's just like these items are all so bad, right? The bag of stones and all the stones are just shitty on their own. The shovel is shitty. It's like he just has so many bad items within the mix here that, like, I get what you've done. I get the idea of the comp here, but it just seems like this would be like if you're playing Teamfight Tactics and you're trying to open fort to where you intentionally lose in the early game so that you get the better economy. Like it's what it seems like's happening here, but like the pivot doesn't seem to exist to me as to where you have to stop losing at some point. And like when you see a build like this, you can like say, okay, this is the point to where I need to stop losing, but it doesn't like seem like it pivots out to a good enough build to start winning because it just has so much garbage in it. I don't know. I definitely need more experience in the mix, but it just strikes me as trash. That's the fair way to say it, huh? It just strikes me as trash. And so, as far as the items go here, we're just going to be taking the shaman mask. We'll look to probably pick up something to generate the. Is this the right one? Hang on. Yeah, it's the right one. The runes are offered in the shop now. Just it's been a real bummer since we haven't hit the um, gemstone box, and so I was getting myself confused. I was thinking a few games ago I was using a big flute build with a shaman mask and using the flutes to generate the clovers, um, and I know that we've passed on some flutes in here, so it's like I'm getting a bit mixed up with things from the past. But to run through these real quick, like I don't think we ever want the wolf emblem, right? Where we don't have any uh, pet things at this point. We don't have any gooberts running around. I don't really want to build towards this. I don't generally like the blacksmith, the chieftain. We're way out of mana. Brass knuckles is a decent, just generalist item in the sense that regardless of what your build does, brass knuckles is never bad. But I'm pretty certain we need to be in the shaman and loading up this double axe with as many gems as we can get. So we're going to take the potion belt. The box of riches is finally turned up so we can get access to it. And last but not least, there is a corrupted crystal in here. It's a little bit expensive. I'm curious though if we want to come back to it so that we can make the healing reduction helmet. It's probably okay to come in and just take. All right, so let's go ahead and just sell the shield so that we have room. I want to make these boots, and then we'll reserve the crystal. I'm not going to sell stuff to pick it up this round, but I think that's okay. Now we also have the shaman mask. We probably want to put it on the gloves and within our bag. There we go. Okay, that gets us everywhere we want to be. The shaman mask underneath the claws within the bag, getting those buffs up and running on board. Okay, let's dive in. Gotta get that quick low rotate at the end, This flame whip coming in. He's taking us down quick, but we haven't hit our battle rage. I'm trying to turn. Oh, he's not out of here stripping buffs. It's like, where did all our buffs even go? Did the did the shaman mask just never activate? Odd. That's odd. But here we got a bag on sale. We're gonna pick up the corrupted crystal. We can finally start loading up the double axe. See if we could get the oil lamp in here as well. Put that up on the axe. Seems reasonable. See if we can do this without messing it up. At the end of the day, I want like all three of the top parts of the axe to be underneath those speed bags. I'm not quite certain if we're getting there yet, but let's see. This rearrange is coming together kind of okay. Where'd that torch go? We just hadn't purchased it yet. All right, you're in. We at least got our bag sorted out the way that we wanted it to. Now let's get our potion within the actual potion belt. That looks good. Okay, it's coming together. something like this, and then we can start to socket up the big sword. Man, and it's so late in the game. Like, if we ever see like an impractically large greatsword, we can just switch immediately, but it feels real bad being this late in the game and just not having a fully stacked up axe. Like, I don't even care about having the higher quality gems, I just want the sockets to be filled. Alright, starting to crash through that guy, though. So at this point, you know, it's like, what are we looking for? And like, I'm trying to think, I guess in our previous video we did touch on like the very crit heavy Pyromancer build, and that's kind of the exact same thing that we're going to be doing here. We're going to be focusing in all of our resources in on this double axe, and we're not really going to focus in on too much sustain. And so whenever we look at these items, we're basically just going to ask ourselves the question, does this make our double axe better? And so things like the oil lamp or the gen lamp to give it bonus attack, things like yellow potions to make sure that we keep having enough stamina, and then as far as defensive items go, we really just want things like the cap of resilience that makes us strong for like the first 5 seconds of the battle, because once you get past that first 5 seconds, if you're going to like fatigue, you've lost anyways. And so these items out here, they're all garbage, nothing too interesting, but that's the kind of thing that we're going to keep in mind here. I wouldn't actually mind picking up the second Gloves of Haste to get double stacked dragon claws onto the double axe. The double axe, double claws, you know. So that sounds good. Anything else interesting in here? Ooh, we got a chipped ruby. Look out, that sounds nice. But yeah, see, like, in a lot of builds, this heart container would be very tempting, having the on saleness of it. You can convert it with the corrupted crystal if you actually wanted to, but this is just going to be too slow, right? We're never going to use all of these abilities, and so I'm happy enough to just go ahead and pass on that kind of thing. We'll keep our 4 mana at this point, our $4, I should say. Jump into the next round. Things are starting to improve. They're starting to pick up here. Still took us a long time to get to this point, but it's certainly getting better. Out here, the mana is a big, or the stamina is a big issue now. Just missed on multiple attacks there, not having access to enough. And so here, you know, I think it's fine to go ahead and start picking up the flutes. It does suck in this kind of build, right? In the sense that it's very challenging to get that full stack, that all those items like out in front of here, right? You can look at this and see, you know, that axe is going to take up, you know, 5 stars out of the flute space, but it's just so good in the sense that we really want to hit both stamina and clovers, and it, you know, just really helps the build pop off. And so I'm not opposed to picking it up here. Let's go ahead and add that into the stack. I would prefer to be finding things like shit, we didn't upgrade our gloves. I prefer to be finding things like the yellow potions, but kind of is what it is at this point. But here, very, very interesting set. A lot of strong things coming out of this. We're going to go ahead and just upgrade the Dragon Claws this round. I want to pick up the second set of gloves, but no need to do it right now. We've got this Cap of Discomfort that we're now going to convert into the Cap of Resilience. That looks good to me. And then I want to pick up this second Corrupted Crystal. It's on sale, which is fucking awesome, but getting the that just huge chunk damage bit on our item is quite strong. And so especially as you run into, say, like reincarnate pyromancers that start at 50% health, it's very easy to just start getting huge one hits on them over and over and over again when they have that low health total. And so that all sounds good to me. Build looks good. Got our reserves in. Oh shit, we didn't put our flute down. We haven't even have enough space for it. We can definitely make it work. We got 3 slots over here. Almost missed out on that guy. So yeah, look how terrible that is. It's like we need to push our dragon armor up to the top, and then we can kind of we can kind of micromanage around that a little bit better. It's just not going to fit at this point. Okay, we'll come back to that. Keep it in mind. We need to get this dragon scale armor out of the way. I don't know if we can get the double axe out of the way without a complete retooling, but conceptually it's good. In execution here, it's definitely going to take a lot more work. So what's this guy doing? We got a mana berserker out here. We kicked him into battle rage before we went into battle rage. That's typically a pretty good sign of things to come, but we have stamina issues to where he didn't. And so, bit of a bummer in that space. Alright, we got our helmet though. Let's go ahead and get our second set of gloves. See what else turns up. The Wolpertinger, I always just call it the wolf tiger. It is in no way a wolf or a tiger, but that's what the text looks like to me. I'm not opposed to having it in this space. Getting that base stamina regeneration is something we can kind of pop off with. It does work reasonably well with the Shaman Mask. The Shaman Mask just generating a ton of buffs and then using those buffs to get that stamina increase bonus. Now, like, I'm not certain if that's a real meaningful bonus, right? You can let some math nerd tell you better as to as to whether or not it's meaningful, but it feels like it should be to me. And so that's all that really matters. So we're going to go ahead and lock it in. We'll pick it up for the next round. See if we can't clean up this bag here a little bit. It's like we don't have any of the 3-slot bags to really manage. Man, are we going to send? Okay, just it's like I wanna just send everything in and redo it. I hate doing this so much, but I think we're kind of stuck. It should be fairly quick. I have like the main gist of what I want our build to look like here. I'm happy enough with this great great axe thing up here to the left. Maybe we need this space over here to the left of the main bag for this to work. Jesus fuck. Maybe that's a little bit better. Maybe that's more enough out of the way. Stack up all of our gloves onto the double axe. That's fine. Get this in here somewhere. Seems reasonable pointing the flutes up. That's been like kind of what I envisioned, is if we're going to, push the dragon scale armor to the top and then have the chipped topaz at the top, we can just point the flutes up from bottom to top, and then that's going to fit in this space a little bit better. Seems reasonable. All right, that's going to be close enough. Alrighty. just get out of this round without having to rearrange the whole bag. How are we doing in here? Up against a crit ranger. He's building up a lot of stats, but it doesn't feel like he's actually dealing any damage. That was very strange. I guess we're kind of well tuned against a crit ranger with the cap of resilience along with battle rages, just getting that mass damage prevent, and so I guess it's not too crazy, but I saw that build and was like, oh, we're fucked. I was like, there's no way we're winning this one, and then it turned out just fine. Alright, what do we got? Another flute and then a big bag. Seems fine. Can't quite afford the flute. Let's just start to sell off these berries. They're not doing anything anyways. And we got double flute. Just gotta find somewhere to put them. Kind of is what it is at this point, right? It's doing a little bit of something. It's just let's be real, this is like the shittiest positioning on these flutes ever, but like the rearranging at this point is so weird. It's so strange we haven't seen any stamina bags, right? So strange. All right though, looks good enough. Let's jump into battle. It's another crit ranger. I don't know what this ranger's doing. He's got all the crit items, but then he's also got the slow gloves and stuff. So looks strange. Still seems like we should be decent against these. And we take down another one. Go us, go team. So what do we got? Do we want more of these dragon skin boots? Yeah, it's not like a spectacular item, but the big thing I look at this as is just like giving us empowered, and I don't love it. It's kind of cheap, but I don't know how much we need it. I think we do want this extra crystal up here, so we have the main crystal on our item, but then we also get the healing reduction based off of the second cap. So that looks fine to me. Yeah, I think we just need to try and find like another bag. We'll pick up the 1 mana gem because we can just resell it, and then a 5-point bag comes in. Okay. At least we can kind of fit this stuff in here better. Just more armor reduction, or more healing reduction with the amethyst. Okay, I'm on board. Upgrade the blue gem up to the top left. Seems fine. I still feel like we've gotten fairly sloppy about this, but it could have definitely come together worse. Do we want to move the wolf tiger over to the bag slot so that it's the one that gets the bonus instead of this banana? That's probably fine. Is this up against some poison? We should be able, like, theoretically, I would think we could crit down the poison guy before he gets poison stacked up enough to be relevant, but he does have an absolute massive amount of armor in this space. Like, I don't know how we're supposed to fight through that. Oh, we just didn't. We just the thing with that's very interesting. Like the blue gems, right? They have that chance to just attack the health directly, and it looked like we just chunked through that through that health, just ignoring the armor. So good stuff. Glad to have those hit. Let's see if we can't take this down. No, this is interesting as well. Right, we're on what it would be like the last round of the base rounds. This is the first time we've seen a rune turn up, right? We got the shaman mask at the midpoint, making the runes turn up in the shop, and then this is like the actual very first one that we've seen. It's very strange, and so we'll continue forward. There is the first impractically large greatsword that we've seen up to this point. Like, it's tough, right? It does convert up into the busted blade. And what I'll kind of say with this space is, like, we're in the final battle at this point. Like, I don't think that we're going to continue on into the survival rounds. And it's again, like, when I talk about, say, like a frost build and the pyromancer, is to where it takes like a bit of ramp up time to actually get good. And you're wanting to, say, have the full collection of hearts when you pick the frost mage item, because you're going to have to just lose a couple of rounds as you try to assemble the frost items. And then assuming you hit, 5 or 6 or 7 frost items, you're just guaranteed to cruise through to the late game. But if you're at that midpoint and you only have 1 heart, you can't really sacrifice any rounds to get to that late game build. And that's what I kind of think that we're at here with this busted blade. Like, we're reasonably well accustomed now to building around the busted blade. But we have 1 heart left, and as we, say, pick the busted blade this round and win, then we're really kind of lacking the upgrade still to fight through the higher tier levels. And so I think it's just like worth skipping over. I really want to focus in on just trying to win this one singular round, and then we're just going to call it a day. So we'll pick up the rune, we'll pick up the 1 mana gem. I don't think we need blueberries at this point. We could sell the box of riches. We don't want gems showing up in the shop, and we don't need to generate anymore, so that should be good to get rid of. As far as the rest of this stuff goes, don't really want potions, don't need a hammer. The belt, I think we'll take. It's on sale. We might find an armor or something we want to fit in that large amount of space. None of these items really work out. None of those were win now type items. Don't need any more bag space. We're completely filled out, but I'm moderately interested in this blood amulet. Well, it's not even going to be good in our build, right? Like, when it comes to these big axe and big item builds, you want percentage heal, like you would get off of this flawed ruby. You want to have like a dagger build for these blood amulets that's going to hit over and over and over again. So I don't think that's going to be particularly spectacular. I could definitely see maybe just like selling off this chipped topaz and picking up, say, the cheese. Give us a couple of bonuses in on these bananas. Guess. Just like, what are we going to roll for at this point that we actually want to hit? There's not a ton of stuff left. Like, the big thing to hit would be yellow potion. We've seen literally 0 yellow potions this run, and so that would be nice to have them turn up at the end, but I don't think that's the answer to the day. Let's move on with this. I'm fine to add in the cheese. I guess the last thing we could have kind of considered is you can't just leave these gems in your bag, and we could have just put a bunch of gems out in the bag to ensure that we have, maximum strength flutes. But that just kind of sounds kind of shitty to me, and so I don't feel too upset about not doing that. All right, so we got the amethyst. Let's jump into battle. What a weird fucking game. What is this? What is this pyromancer doing? Got the pretty big holy build. Curious if this round will go like the last one, to where our blue gem just chunks through the health and we get to ignore the armor. No, that armor went the whole way down this time. Surprised we're still in this. This has been a real grind fest, and our stamina just completely drained a few times, and so very strange. But we got the victory. We're gonna just call it quits here. Typically, as we run through these, I like to just continue to the survival rounds, but I don't think there's really too much to add as far as this build goes. Like, I think this has just been like a very strange game, and I'm kind of glad to just take the W here where we can get it. And so, like, at the end of the day, like, I think we handled this reasonably well. Again, like, it just seems like everything in this game went completely wrong, and we still managed to get this far. Now, there is the kind of idea that it went wrong and we should have found like something better to do, right? We could have just pivoted out, and I'm not certain if, the way that the items turned up, we should have just been in the mana build, or if it was just kind of RNG with the way things hit that made it look so bad, right? We saw a lot of the mana build items turn up, and I just like, it's a struggle for me to determine at this point if we should have pivoted. But it's so weird the way these drafts go. Like, it's not like we're drafting Magic and we're picking up a signal on what our opponents have drafted, and we're seeing the mana items are open. It's just like the RNG festival in terms of what shows up in the shops, and so it's tough in that sense. But I like what we did with our build here. We're really hammering home the strength of this double axe. We've got the 3 dragon claws on it, and we are at that very big glass cannon kind of space. And so it does suck that we didn't hit the gems. We saw literally one rune the entirety of the game, and we're stuck with these kind of weird flute builds instead of being able to use stamina potions to really kick things off. But I think we managed to come through, and we picked out the nuggets, the peanuts and the kernels of corn out of the turd, and so snack on that festival of shit and make the best out of it. I think that's what we were able to do here, and still pick up the W. And so, good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So, hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching it. This is Bustin. Thank you for being here.